Good day and hello, besties. My name is Shelby Ashley, and welcome to another episode recap from Big Brother 28. This was episode 18. This was the week 5 Veto episode. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below as you watch all of your opinions and stuff because I don't have anybody in my real life to talk about this stuff with. So please be my internet friend. But getting into the episode, what was really exciting about this episode that I was really looking forward to was the whole Angela confrontation, because that actually wasn't really on the feeds. We kind of saw the lead up and the fallout, but we didn't actually get to see what was described to us as so I was really excited to see kind of what that all consisted of. So that's basically what I was waiting for this entire episode. But we begin the episode with Lala saying that Barrett's a pawn, and between Haley and Chuck, she doesn't really care who goes. But Barrett is kind of confused at Lala saying that he needs to pick a side because the house just split in half and he just voted with her, so make that make sense. Then we get Haley crying in the DR, saying that she went from princess to peasant, and so I'm guessing that she just went to the DR to go vent and not to do like a proper Haley, please go to the diary room kind of a thing, because she says that she hopes this isn't a DR because she looks ass and they better not use this. She needs to go put makeup on if it's a DR, and gosh, these producers hate this woman. They are giving her the nastiest edit they can without being like disrespectful, I guess. But man, they are just grilling this bitch, dude. Like, they're grilling her. They're just throwing her to the trash can, man. Chuck is saying that Lala said that him and Haley are a couple, and he's really confused by that because while he finds her attractive, and he's a good-looking guy, they're just friends. So it doesn't make any sense. They're just friends. They're not a couple. Why would you say there's a couple? Yeah, we're in multiple alliances together, and, you know, she didn't say you're a showmance. Just a pair. And maybe the word couple was not a great word to use, but it wasn't even a bad word to use. Like, you know, it's a couple, it's a pair. Whatever. Chuck is saying to Haley, Chuck and Haley talk to Taylor, and they say that Lala doesn't have game and she has no idea what's going on in the house, and Taylor just says they are being so humbled and she said that she didn't necessarily have a hand in it, but she had a finger, or 2, or 5. Taylor had some pretty good DR moments this episode. She tells them that, you know, maybe the situation's like, maybe Kamu's gonna get backdoored. I don't know. Lala's just doing her own thing. I'm not controlling Lala's HOH. Absolutely not. I'm just as surprised as you guys are. That's definitely what she's trying to give off here. Haley thinks that it would be worst case scenario for all 3 of Haley, Chuck, and Kamu to be on the block. So she just really doesn't know that she's the target, and she is the ultimate goal of everybody this week. Kamu says that he's feeling great, and he considers the tool shed dead, and he's kind of proud of himself because he needed new people to work with, and he went from going on the block to being on the block to Haley and Chuck being on the block, and Kamu's like not really even being considered anymore. Kamu has made some really great inroads from being blindsided to now. So I agree with Kamu there. Give yourself some flowers. I thought it was so fun also after this that we got a joint DR with Melody and Mallory while they were all tandem together. And I just love a little joint DR moment. It's so fun. After the ceremony, they go outside and they start giggling. And they say that Haley is finally gonna know what a bad week is, and Mallory doesn't get how everyone isn't laughing. Like, Mallory's literally like chuckling throughout the whole thing. Then we get a clip of Dee, Devins, and Angela, the icons, talking. And they're just kind of talking about their position. They're saying, like, how fun is this and all of this and how good of a spot they're in. But Angela gets a DR and she's saying that she's starting to feel really guilty about lying. And throughout this episode, we see it really eat away at her until it just climaxes. Chuck talks to Lala about why he's on the block, and she says that Haley's a sinking ship and he is tied to her. And Chuck tells her to her face that she needs to start playing the game, and everyone thinks she doesn't know what's going on. And then she's telling him that is her game of acting like she's not knowing what's going on. And the sound effects that are playing during this conversation, it's like Tweedledee and Tweedledum vibes, you know, like who's really playing who here, like. And unfortunately, I think all of this just pertains to both of them, except for the fact that they are acting like they don't know what's going on. I think they actually don't. But, you know, it's crazy that Chuck says this to her face right after she put him on the block. Like, that's fucking ballsy. That's crazy. Lala's telling Chuck that he needs to win that veto and untie himself from Haley. We get a cute little Mallory and Melody punishment montage, and we see that we get that clip of them, like, wrapping Drew around it by the neck, and Drew's like their dog. Drew's in the DR asking for it to be longer than 48 hours. He loves this punishment. But they have to do everything together. They work out together. They make food together. They sleep together. They eat an apple together. They just do everything together. And honestly, they would kind of just be doing that same thing anyway, even if they weren't tethered together. Devins thinks Dee has the power, and because he thought maybe Mallory might have it, but then Mallory came out with the punishment, so he's talking to Dee. He's like, look, you can keep it to yourself, that's fine, you can keep it to yourself. And Dee's like, you wouldn't hate me if I had a power, you'd still love me even if I didn't tell you. And he's like, it's fine. And then she just looks at him and she's like, okay, I have a power. Like, and then she tells him that she has the BB Bride power, where she can give $5,000 to someone to have them do something game related for her. And man, they really are in a crazy spot. Just to have all of this power, it's just crazy. And they're just using it so well. I think they're playing so great. Like, you really can't knock them. Like, you can knock them for doing silly things like flipping the vote and not telling the red corner and stuff like that, but I don't know, man. It's just, they're just having so much fun, and I can't help but love it. I'm kind of rooting for it too, as much as it was a steamroll for a minute there. Like, now, you know, you have this whole thing a brewing in the house as well, like, which we'll talk about later in the episode, or in this video about an episode. Whatever. We get Dee and Angela talking to Haley, and she's asking them about their votes, and she will not let this go. She just keeps prying. Haley is determined to figure out where these votes were, who's lying. She's tired of people lying. She's about to go crazy from it. Dee says someone's lying their ass off, and Haley is catching on to Dee. And after Dee walks away, the more Haley talks to Angela about it, you can actually see Angela, like, getting uncomfortable and worked up. You can, like, see it all over her. How Haley didn't know, I don't know. Angela is saying that, you know, Haley keeps prying, and if Angela doesn't fess up to this soon, their friendship could actually be over, and Angela doesn't want that. And Haley, we get a DR of Haley, and she says that she believes Angela, and she thinks that Angela did vote to save Lyric and did not vote to evict Lyric and did not flip the vote on her. So it's crazy how much Haley trusts Angela, and Angela spent so much time gaining so much trust from Haley just to throw it all away like this. Like, it's crazy. Haley then talks to Kamu. She's asking him about his vote because she's suspicious of Dee. And she's also comes up with an idea to keep them all safe. If her or Chuck were to win the veto, they just wouldn't use it. That way they can't backdoor Kamu. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If Kamu was on your side, maybe, but I swear, anybody that doesn't use the veto on themselves. Then we get a clip of Lala, Taylor, and the Icons in the HOH talking about Kamu. And Lala is telling Dee, I think you should come clean to Kamu about the vote. Because Angela just came clean. Well, no, Angela's gonna come clean. She didn't come clean yet. But, you should really tell him about the vote. Kamu, respects honesty. And then we also get some more DRs from Angela basically panicking and, everything's just really getting to her. This lie is weighing so heavy on her. So Angela wakes up and she's crying. So she's like, let me get in the shower so no one can see that I'm crying and it can hide my tears. Haley walks into the bathroom while Angela is blow drying her hair, and she says, hey, beautiful, or hey, pretty, or something like that, or you look pretty. And then, man, Angela just lets it all go, and she goes up to Haley, she starts crying, she says, I'm so sorry, I voted the wrong way. Haley asked her if there was a reason. She says not really, but it was nothing really to do with Haley. And Haley is shocked. She doesn't really know how they are going to recover from this or their relationship. And she tells Angela she needs some space today. Haley talks to Chuck pretty much right after, and she's telling Chuck that Angela was one of the votes, and she said by lying to them, she's really basically blown up their whole alliance. So Dee sees Angela pretty much as this is happening with Chuck and Haley in the storage room, and she goes into the bathroom and she asks Angela if she enjoyed her shower, and Angela tells her that she just told Haley about her vote. Dee's irritated. She said no one should come clean to Chuck or Haley, and she was supposed to come clean to Kamu. So, wrong order of operations, Angela. And as Dee leaves the bathroom, after Angela tells her this, Haley comes in the bathroom, and they kind of bump shoulders too as well. And then Haley comes in the bathroom, and she's coming in kind of hot, and she's saying, one thing that really bothers me is that you had the audacity to shout out my family right after you flipped a vote against me, and she blames Angela for this alliance falling apart. Chuck comes in the bathroom afterwards, and he says he's disappointed in Angela, and she apologizes to Chuck, and he says in the DR that, he gives her credit for fessing up, but he is not buying her tears. And the Angela apology tour continues when she's telling Kamu as well. And Kamu says it vindicates him, honestly, and he really was telling the truth, and now everybody will see that he was telling the truth. So now, Angela's truth is out there that she was one of these votes. So, Angela's saying it, Kamu's saying it, Chuck is saying it, Dee is saying it, and Yash is saying it. So now that they all voted to keep Lyric. So you have Angela saying that she was a vote to evict Lyric, and pretty much Chuck and Kamu both know that everybody thinks again now that they voted to save Lyric. So now it's between Yash and Dee on who is lying about their vote. But in the middle of all of this crazy, we have a veto draw to do. And Chuck's chip is pulled first, and Chuck picks Kamu to play in the HOH because Chuck wants Kamu to use the veto on him if Kamu wins, and he wants to give Kamu some chance to also win the veto for safety. Also, I noticed that Chuck's name wasn't centered on his chip, and that really bothered me. Dee is the second chip out of the box, and Kamu says in the DR basically right now that he would keep the nominations the same if he won the veto, and he would not use it on Haley or Chuck, and he needs to start creating some distance between them. After this, Dee tells Kamu about her vote. She finally gets to letting him know, hey, I voted to evict Lyric. And she wants to make sure this relationship between them is good so that she can keep Kamu as a shield for her, because Kamu's a really great competitor and really kind of growing into a pretty big target in the house. She says that she didn't tell him because he would have told Chuck and Haley, and Kamu says he kind of understands that. And then Dee says she has one more thing. She tells him about her power. What are we doing, Dee? She tells him about her power. She tells him what it is, about the BB bribe. And she says in the DR that she told him to build trust. She said something in her just said that she should tell him, and she did. And she's mad that she told him that, but she just really felt like she needed that bit of information to get him on her side. And it's working. It's working. Chuck and Haley join these two in the gym where they are talking. Haley's venting about the whole Angela situation, and Haley mentions that Angela let it be known that Dee was one of the votes. And they are all talking about the vote. Dee is saying, like, look, we can get everybody up here and clear this out right now. Like, do we need to get Yash? And Kamu's like, do we need to get Angela? And we get a DR from Kamu saying, you know exactly what this conversation needs. Angela. So everybody's in the room. Dee's telling to Angela, like, look, they're trying to figure out why you lied. And Angela keeps saying that she did lie. She's trying to move forward from it. And Haley says that she screwed the alliance by doing that. And Chuck asks her if she lied about Dee. And she's like, what do you mean? Lied about Dee? What are you talking about? And Haley's like, you know what I'm talking about. And then she's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to say it, Haley. And Haley's like, what did you tell me upstairs earlier? And Angela's like, nothing. No. And then Haley's like, you know what you said. You said trust your gut and all this stuff. And then it's like trust your gut was the activation word for Angela to be fully animated. Because literally right after she says that, fucking liar, fuck you, Haley, you guys know me, I didn't do that, Dee, don't believe that, that's a bitch move, Haley, how could you say something like that? And then, it gets really heated, and Lala comes in the room, and she's dragging Angela out, and Angela's like, Dee, you know me, Kamu, you know me, Yash, you know me, Haley, you know me, you know I didn't do that, and then, like, the further she gets away, she's like, freaking cinema, dude. We didn't get to see that on the feed, so I was pretty excited to see that. And as much, I think the retellings were a little more fun, probably, but she really did go off on that girl. I would love to see the unedited footage. Lala sees Haley in the kitchen right after this, and she's asking if she plans to apologize to Angela. And, she's kind of dodging the question a little bit. And then it gets kind of heated between Lala and Haley. And mind you, this is all happening right before a veto competition. So, way to get everybody heated up. You know what I mean? In this veto, we go to I think it was August 13th, 1977. This is disco themed. This is a memory game where you have to go down a path and step on all the right tiles to get to the end. It's also a bracket, so we do 3 1v1s, and the three that win that, the fastest one of them 3 get a bye into the final round, and then the other 2 battle it out, and then the last one standing wins. So the first round we get is Kamu versus Chuck, and Chuck struggled a bit with this one, and Kamu did end up winning. Then we get Haley versus Lala, and Haley wins. Barrett versus Dee, and Barrett wins. And Kamu is the one with the fastest time, so he gets the bye to the last round. Then we get Barrett v. Haley, and Barrett wins. And then the final round is Barrett versus Chuck, Barrett versus Kamu, and Kamu wins. And I thought it was pretty funny how Kamu said, Yash was hosting the competition, and he said, Yash, I believe you have a prompt. Very flashback to last season when Keanu did that to Ava. Chuck and Haley are feeling great about Kamu winning the veto. They think that Kamu is going to use it on one of them, and it might give them a chance for all 3 of them to stay if the other person can win the blockbuster. First thing though, Kamu checks in with Lala, and he's like, so I'm not using this veto, right? Kamu wants to make sure that the stories are straight, though, and he comes up with a story that's like, Lala says if I tried to use the veto, then she would put up someone like Devon's. And Lala kind of agrees to this, like, okay. And then they all agree that, like, Chuck or Haley has to go this week. And then we get, Mallory and Melody's punishment is over. And after we get, their freedom, we get a clip of those two, Andrew and Barrett, talking. And they form the For the American People Alliance, otherwise known as FAP. Now, I guess we get confirmation that the show is not going to let them call it FAP. Because it used to mean fuck-ass people or something like that. And, man, I wondered what the edit would pick as their name for their alliance. So, For the American People. Very big brother of them to pick, like, the patriotic one, I think. But then we get to see their rock ceremony, and they all hum together as they are manifesting good luck for themselves. Chuck and Haley talk to Kamu, and they're like, who are you going to use the veto on, man? Good on you for winning the veto. Yes, brother, yes. So who are you going to use it on? And he's trying to pitch the idea, that Lala says that she would put someone close to him up, and Chuck and Haley are still like, yeah, so who are you going to use the veto on? And then he also mentions a world where maybe he doesn't use the veto and they both stay. Haley is really hurt by that. She starts crying. She says in the DR, like, they were like the Avengers. No one could stop them. And Chuck says that he's going to cause World War Big Brother, WWBB, if Kamu doesn't use the veto. And that's exactly what Kamu plans on doing, is not using the veto. So after this week at the veto ceremony, Kamu, does not use the power of veto, just like he's been saying this whole time. Chuck says he's done with Kamu. Barrett thanks Kamu for not using it because now he's sitting next to two huge targets. And Haley thinks that she's Cruella's target, but she can't wait to see their faces when she wins the Blockbuster competition. There's not much on my end for spoilers on the feeds. It's been kind of set. It's wobbled a little bit, but it's pretty set in stone on who they plan on evicting. And all I can say is not a shocker. So if you don't want to hear any specifics, go ahead and tune out. And thank you so much for watching. You can follow me everywhere at Shelby Ashley, where that first E is a 3. And I will be here tomorrow night to talk about everything that happens on the eviction episode for week 5 on Big Brother 28. Now, if you want a name or two, like I said, it's not a lot going on in the live feeds as far as, well, there is a lot, but not a lot that I'm going to get into. But as far as it goes in the house right now, I don't think anyone's really leaning so hard. No one's really fighting for a specific person to really stay or go. It's kind of a lot of talk, a lot of what are the pros and cons of it all. But it's looking like I'm pretty sure Haley will leave if she's on the block at all. And if it's Barrett versus Chuck, Chuck is definitely going to leave. So my entertainment levels wise, I'd love to see Chuck leave just because he gives me the less and I don't want any more It's Chuck time. But yeah, if Barrett left, that'd be crazy. But I don't think any flip like that is going to happen this week. This week's been pretty cut and dry with the Haley target. And it did waver for a minute there. But, Chuck is more, there is like this Icon versus Taylor and her small militia going on. So if that side, like if anybody that's not firmly planted in the Icon corner, like I wonder if Yash would go after the Icons. I don't really know, but yeah, we could see people going after the Icons next week. But I don't remember where I started with this sentence. I'm tired today and I'm a little sickly. So I'm just going to end it there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again tomorrow for the week 5 live eviction episode, where maybe we see the downfall of Thog or the downfall of Chuck Time. Later.